This video was made possible by Lens Library.
Okay, let's do a bit of a walk and talk. So right now you are looking at me through the Insta360 One X. So yes, this is a 360 camera, so I guess what we're really wondering is how is this 360 camera different from the other 360 cameras? Now, if we're going to put it technically, then I would say it's unique in terms of the amount of accessories it has to offer along with the camera, and also its software is pretty interesting, but we'll get to that in a minute. But what that translates to creatively, I'm going to narrow it down to one word, and it is framing. So speaking of framing, you might notice that this video is not a 360 video that you can actually pan around with, even though it was recorded in 360. And I think that's really where the Insta360 shines. Not as a conventional 360 camera whereby you just record in 360 and leave it as is, but more about what you do to the footage afterwards. So I guess you can call it a post-heavy 360 camera.
And the mobile app you pair the camera to is where all the magic happens. Now yes, you can export a good old unaltered 360 video, but what you really got the One X for is to reframe what you shot in 360. So you start by choosing an aspect ratio. There's 16:9 for normal people, 1:1 for Instagrammers, and also 9:16 for millennials. Then you have 3 ways to compose your shot. There's pivot points, which basically work as keyframes, and of course my favorite, viewfinder mode, or as I like to think of it, cam op simulator. You hold down the red button and the 360 video starts playing, you pan and tilt your phone around to frame the shot, and the framing gets recorded as is. It's also in this mode you can pull the field of view way out for that tiny planet effect. Oh yes, there's also tracking mode where it keeps the frame on one subject, and it also works better than After Effects tracking. Now, bullet time is when you literally spin a $400 camera around yourself at a recommended 60 RPM. There's 2 ways you can do it, with a string attached to the camera, this one comes in the box, or the optional bullet time handle accessory in combination with the selfie stick, each sold separately. From my brief experience with those setups, the one that's not a string feels a bit more secure because chances are the string may or may not slip off your grip and your brand new One X gets flung off into oblivion. The camera applies 100 FPS slow-mo automatically to bullet time footage, and it cannot be reframed. The framing is locked onto the center of rotation, aka person spinning the camera. There's also no preview available during bullet time. As an added bonus, you're also guaranteed to look absolutely ridiculous when spinning a $400 camera around on a stick or string, not to mention maybe hitting someone in the face with it, risking damage to your One X, but you do actually end up with some pretty cool looking footage. There's also time shift, which is Insta360's fancy name for hyperlapse. This one's pretty straightforward. After you're set on framing, select the portion of the clip you want to be sped up, have motion blur checked if you'd like some, and you're good to go. This is probably one of my favorite features by far because the end result usually ends up looking pretty cool. However, there is no way to preview the effects, you can only see how it turned out after you export it. Image quality from the One X is not too bad nor good, but thanks to the total resolution of 5.7K, reframing it in 1080p doesn't result in too much loss of detail. Dynamic range, however, is not amazing, and there are tons of compression artifacts.
Now it did rain not too long ago, so this trail might be a teensy bit slippery. So if I do slip and fall catastrophically, at least we caught it on 360, right? Now I should note that the audio you're listening to right now is not in-camera audio, because the in-camera audio sounds something like this, which is not the best.
But not so bad to the extent you can't make out what sick tunes I listen to while driving. I also had the thought that One X will make a great dash cam, you know, just to film the lovely people who pass you on the wrong side. And those who run reds.
Okay. Now something else that makes the One X quite special is flow state stabilization. So it's something like hyper smooth on the GoPro 7. So it's done entirely in software with the help of some accelerometer data and maybe some amount of voodoo magic, because it works incredibly well, as you can see right now. Now it's also got this invisible selfie stick thing going on, so it does kind of make it look like the camera's floating around in mid-air while I'm filming it. So it does that by putting the selfie stick right in the camera's blind spot between the 2 lenses. So if I run my hand along the selfie stick, you can kind of see what's going on here. Now I am using the official Insta360 selfie stick, which has roughly the same thickness as the camera itself, so it hides it really well. If you were to use maybe a third-party selfie stick, which is thicker, you might have it show up in the footage.
Another neat thing, when you preview the feed from the mobile app, the preview stabilizes itself regardless of how you move the camera, which does actually make it a lot more comfortable to look at. Live streaming is also possible with the One X, although it has to be done through a cabled connection.
So there is a lot to like about the One X. It's a very fun and very unique 360 camera. So if there was anything not to like about it, I wouldn't say it's the price point itself, because the camera itself is not priced ridiculously, but more to how much they make you pay for accessories. When you do purchase the One X, it comes with no accessories in the box with the exception of the bullet time string, not the handle, and also the interface cable that allows you to connect the One X to your phone. The essential selfie stick is something you have to get separately, and I guess that includes the battery. The camera only comes with one battery, and battery life honestly is not that good. If you're gonna do a lot of shooting, a single battery on full charge is not gonna get you through one full day. You will need to get additional batteries, but the only way you can charge the battery, you do have to leave it plugged in inside the camera, which means you can't use the camera while you're charging a battery inside of it, which prompts you to buy the external dual bay battery charger, sold separately.
Lucky for me, I didn't have to purchase any of those because I bought the whole set from Lens Library. One final thing to note is the desktop app for the One X is as of now next to useless, so pretty much all the post-processing has to be done with the mobile app. And exporting video on a smartphone takes time. A very short clip could take a couple of minutes to export, but longer videos, say a 20-odd minute clip I took over a painstaking hour for me on a flagship grade Android. The One X also doesn't record a conventional file format, so it's like their own little package file. Videos are saved as .insv files and photos are .insps. But what's good about this is every clip exists as only one standalone file.
So that is pretty much it about the Insta360 One X. I should probably watch where I'm going. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Woo!